Hi, my name is Amy Harden, and this is my story. When I was a little girl, I lived in a very small town. It was right on the edge of Pennsylvania and New York. My house was a big gray Victorian house that was placed up on top of a hill, a big wraparound porch. I loved that house. We had great times playing there. I had a little friend. Her name was Pammy Carnahan. We called her Pipper. Well, Pipper and I, every summer, used to go and play all around the neighborhood. But we especially loved playing across the street in this forest, which had big, tall pine trees. And you could go down the hills and slide down, and there was all kinds of fun things to do. We played cowboys and Indians in there. It was so much fun. Well, this forest was right next to another Victorian house, which an old couple that we loved very much lived in. The people who lived in the house across the street, right next to this forest, their name was Aunt Helen and Uncle Trace. And every Wednesday night, Uncle Trace would invite Pipper and I over to sit on his back porch and have watermelon or ice cream or popsicles or anything nice for a late afternoon. Well, one Wednesday afternoon, Pepper and I went over and knocked on Uncle Trace's door and said, "Uncle Trace, it's Wednesday, time for summer treats." He said, "Come on in, girls. It's time to have watermelon." Well, we went in and we went into the kitchen, and Aunt Helen would cut up the big watermelon that came out of Uncle Trace's garden. And she would give us little triangles of watermelon, and we would go and sit on the back porch. Well, this night, we were sitting out on the back porch, and Uncle Trace came out with his own watermelon. And we were all sitting there, and we were spitting the seeds as far as we could go. And I said to Uncle Trace, "Hey, Uncle Trace, why is it that they call the forest next to your house Fairy Forest?" And Uncle Trace said, "Well, if you're very quiet and you look out on the garden, right about just when the sun goes behind the mountains, you'll see those little flickering lights come out and go across the top of my pumpkins and my watermelons, and you know what they are?" And we said, "What?" He said, "They're fairies, and they come out and they dance on top of my pumpkins every night right at dusk, and that's why we call it Fairy Forest." The end.